Pack a simple EU to US plug adapter to unlock the bonus European outlets found in almost every cabin. 4. Motion sensor nightlight. Inside cabins are a miracle for your budget, but they are a nightmare for your shins once the lights go out. When you turn off that main switch, an interior room becomes a literal tomb of absolute darkness where you can see your hand in front of your face. Most cruisers think they'll just use the bathroom light, but that's a rookie mistake. I've heard the cabin crash more times than I can count. That's the sound of a passenger waking up at 2 a.m. to find the bathroom and walking directly into the corner of the heavy wooden desk. Or worse, you turn on the bathroom light, and the stadium effect of the bright fluorescent bulb wakes up everyone else in the room instantly. It turns a quick bathroom break into an hour-long struggle to fall back asleep. A tiny, battery-operated motion sensor light is the insider solution. You can stick it to the metal wall near the floor using its magnetic base. It provides just enough of a dim glow to guide you to the bathroom without blinding you or your partner. It's a $5 investment that prevents bruised shins and grumpy cabin mates. Place a magnetic motion sensor nightlight near the floor to navigate the pitch-black cabin without waking up your partner. 5. Portable USB travel fan. The air conditioning on a cruise ship is not like the AC in your house. It is a centralized system that often struggles to keep up with the tropical humidity. Many passengers expect a crisp, cold breeze, but on older ships, the air can feel stagnant and heavy the moment the sun hits the balcony door. I've spent nights on a ship where the thermostat said 70, but the lack of air movement made it feel like 80. Without a fan, the cabin can start to smell like the sea, and not in a good way. The humidity from your bathroom and your wet gear stays trapped in the air. This is especially true if you're in an interior room with no window to crack open. You'll find yourself tossing and turning, unable to get comfortable in the still air. A small, rechargeable USB fan is the perfect fix. It provides that vital white noise to drown out hallway conversations and keeps a constant breeze over the bed. Best of all, because it's USB powered, it doesn't count as a high-heat appliance, so the cabin stewards won't give you any trouble about it. It's the difference between a restless night and a deep vacation sleep. Bring a small, rechargeable USB fan to provide white noise and essential air circulation in the often stuffy cabin environment. 6. Poo-pourri/pre-toilet spray. Cruise ship bathrooms have zero ventilation and are often located just 3 feet away from where you sleep. This is the one essential that no one wants to talk about, but everyone regrets forgetting. When you are sharing 170 square feet with another person for a week and you're eating rich buffet food every night, things can get intense. I've seen relationships tested when one person blows up the tiny bathroom right before the other needs to get ready for dinner. Because there are no exhaust fans in these bathrooms, the scent doesn't just stay in the bathroom. It migrates into the living area and clings to the fabrics. It is the fastest way to kill the luxury vibe of your vacation. Most people try to use a standard air freshener, but that just makes the room smell like flowers and disaster. The pro move is a pre-toilet spray like poo-pourri. You spray it on the water before you go, and it creates a film that traps odors under the surface. It is a tiny bottle that preserves the dignity of everyone in the cabin. Use a pre-toilet spray to trap odors before they start, which is essential for sharing a tiny, unventilated bathroom. 7. Hanging over the door organizer. The vanity in a cruise cabin is usually about the size of a pizza box, and that has to hold everything for 2 people. Between the sunscreen, the sunglasses, the lanyards, the daily planners, and the chargers, that surface disappears in about 10 minutes. I've seen cabins where the desk was piled so high with junk that the passengers couldn't even find their room keys. When your surfaces are cluttered, you lose things. You'll spend 15 minutes of your precious port time looking for your chapstick or your sunglasses. Even worse, if the ship hits a bit of a swell, all that clutter on the desk is going to slide right onto the floor. It creates a chaotic environment that makes a small room feel even smaller and more stressful. A clear, mesh-over-the-door organizer is the ultimate space-hacking tool. You hang it on the back of the bathroom door or the closet door, and suddenly you have 24 pockets of storage. It keeps everything at eye level and off the counters. You can see exactly where your sunscreen is without digging through a bag. Use a clear mesh over-the-door organizer to move all your small items off the counters and onto the door for easy access. 8. Liquid hand soap. The standard soap provided in cruise cabins is a tiny, circular bar of detergent that is notoriously drying and messy. Every time you use it, it leaves a slimy, soap scum puddle on the vanity that eventually dries into a hard, white crust. I've seen cabin bathrooms that look like a disaster zone by Wednesday, just because of that one little bar of soap. If you have sensitive skin, that ship-provided bar is going to leave your hands feeling like sandpaper after a few days of sun and salt. Furthermore, trying to wrap a wet, slimy bar of soap back in its paper for a quick hand wash is just frustrating. It's a small detail, but it's one that adds a layer of cheapness to an otherwise expensive vacation. For about $2, you can bring a small bottle of your favorite liquid hand soap. It keeps the counter clean, it smells like home, and it's much more hygienic for a family to share. It's a comfort of home that makes the cabin feel like a high-end hotel rather than a dorm room. Pack a small bottle of liquid hand soap to avoid the messy soap scum and dry skin caused by the ship's bar soap. 9. Pop-up mesh hamper. In a 170-square-foot cabin, there is no hiding place for your dirty laundry. Most passengers think they'll just put their dirty clothes back in their suitcase, but that means you re-dragging a heavy bag out from under the bed every single time you change. I've seen cabins where the closet floor was just a mountain of was-worn socks and sweaty excursion shirts. When you mix dirty laundry with clean clothes in a small space, the whole closet starts to smell. Plus, when it's time to pack on the final night, you'll be exhausted, and trying to sort clean from dirty in a pile on the floor is a miserable way to end a trip. It turns the final evening of your vacation into a chores-filled nightmare. A pop-up mesh hamper is the pro solution. It weighs almost nothing and folds into a flat circle in your suitcase. Once you arrive, you pop it open and tuck it into the corner of the closet. It keeps the stink in one place and makes it incredibly easy to just dump the whole thing into a laundry bag on the last day. Bring a pop-up mesh hamper to keep your dirty laundry organized and off the floor, making packing on the last day a breeze. 10. Packing cubes. If you are still living out of a suitcase on a cruise, you are doing it wrong. A cruise is one of the few vacations where you only have to unpack once, but the drawers in a ship cabin are often oddly shaped or shallow. Most passengers just dump their clothes in, and by day 3, the drawers look like a bomb went off. I've seen cruisers spend their entire morning rummaging through a messy suitcase looking for one specific pair of shorts while the rest of their group is already at the buffet. The frustration of digging for clothes ruins the relaxed morning vibe. If you're sharing a room, your partner's clothes inevitably get mixed with yours, leading to the "is this mine or yours?" argument. Packing cubes turn your suitcase into a set of portable drawers. You can have one cube for swimwear, one for formal night, and one for casual wear. When you get to the cabin, you don't even have to unpack. You just lift the cubes out of the suitcase and slide them directly into the ship's drawers. It keeps everything compressed and organized the entire week. Use color-coded packing cubes to keep your outfits organized and make the unpacking process take less than 5 minutes. Would you like me to continue with items 11 to 20? We are currently at a perfect pace to hit the 3 for 70-word count for the full script. Here are the next 10 expanded chapters, 11 to 20, for your script. This section focuses on the packing strategy and the health essentials, building on the suspense from the intro reveal about item number 14. 11. Compression cubes. If you are trying to travel with a carry-on only, or if you're heading on a cold-weather cruise like Alaska, standard packing cubes aren't going to cut it. You need to upgrade to compression cubes, which are the secret weapon of the pro traveler. Most passengers think they can just sit on their suitcase to make everything fit, but all that does is put massive strain on your zippers and leave your clothes looking like a wrinkled mess. I remember a client who was heading on an 11-night Baltic cruise with nothing but a medium-sized bag. She had bulky sweaters and formal wear that took up 80% of the space before she even packed her shoes. By using compression cubes, which have a second reinforcement zipper to squeeze out every bit of excess air, she managed to shrink her clothing volume by nearly 40%. It was like magic. She actually had room left over for souvenirs. The consequence of overpacking without compression is a bulky bag that won't fit under the bed in your tiny cabin. You'll be tripping over your luggage for 7 days straight. Worse, you'll likely get hit with a heavy bag fee at the airport because you've crammed so much in without any organization. These cubes keep the bulk down and the organization up. Use compression cubes for bulky items like sweaters and jeans to save up to 40% of your suitcase space. 12. Digital luggage scale. There is no feeling of vacation shame, quite like having to open your suitcase on the dirty airport floor and move your dirty laundry into your carry-on while a line of 200 people watches. Most cruisers don't realize how much weight those little souvenirs add up to by the end of the week. That bottle of Mexican vanilla, the heavy ceramic plate from Italy, and 3 new hoodies will easily push you over that 50-pound limit. I've stood at the check-in counter in Miami and watched families get hit with a $100 overweight fee per bag. They were shocked because the bags felt fine when they left home. But the ship's environment and the shopping at the ports changed the math. If you don't know your weight before you leave the cabin, you are essentially gambling with your vacation budget at the very end of your trip. A digital luggage scale is a tiny device, about the size of a stapler, that can save you hundreds of dollars in fees. You just hook it to the handle, lift the bag, and you get an instant, accurate reading. It allows you to shift weight between bags in the privacy of your cabin the night before you disembark, ensuring you walk into the airport with total confidence. Weigh your bags in your cabin before disembarking to avoid the embarrassment and high cost of overweight luggage fees. 13. Plastic luggage tag holders. The paper luggage tags that you print out at home are the weakest link in the entire cruise boarding process. Most passengers just fold them over the handle and staple them, thinking that's enough. But you have to remember that your bag is going to be handled by port porters, tossed into giant metal bins with 500 other bags, and potentially sit out in a tropical rainstorm on the pier. I've seen dozens of homeless bags sitting in the ship's lobby on day one because their paper tags were ripped off during the loading process. If your tag is gone, the crew has no idea which of the 3,000 cabins that bag belongs to. You'll be sitting in the dining room wearing your sweaty travel clothes while the ship's security team tries to figure out who owns your suitcase. For less than $10, you can buy heavy-duty clear plastic luggage tag holders. They feature a steel ring that screws onto your suitcase handle, making it virtually impossible for the tag to be ripped off. They are also waterproof, so your room number remains legible even if there's a sudden downpour. It is the cheapest insurance policy you can buy for your belongings. Buy the specific plastic tag holders for your cruise line to ensure your bags actually make it to your cabin on day one. 14. Apple AirTags/Bluetooth trackers. This is the secret number 14 I mentioned at the start of the video, and it is the ultimate anxiety reducer for the modern cruiser. Most passengers hand their bags to the porter at the pier, get it, don't worry, it'll be at your room, and then spend the next 4 hours wondering if their luggage actually made it onto the ship. In the chaos of embarkation day, where 5,000 bags are moving at once, mistakes happen. I once sat at the Lido deck bar and watched my phone as the Find My app showed my suitcase icon sitting stationary in the terminal as the ship began to pull away from the dock. Because I had an AirTag inside, I was able to immediately alert a crew member. It turned out my bag had been placed on the prohibited pallet by mistake. If I hadn't known exactly where it was, that bag would have stayed in Miami while I sailed to St. Thomas. The consequence of a lost bag on a cruise is much worse than on a flight. You can just go to a mall and buy a whole new wardrobe in the middle of the ocean. You'll be stuck wearing the ship's branded t-shirts for 7 days. Having a tracker inside your bag gives you the power of information and total peace of mind the moment you step on board. Place a Bluetooth tracker like an AirTag in every checked bag so you can verify it actually made it onto the ship before you sail away. 15. Foldable duffel bag. Every cruiser goes home with more than they brought, but almost no one plans for that extra volume. Most people think they can just squeeze those extra souvenirs into their existing bags, but that's how you end up with broken zippers and a ruined suitcase. I've seen passengers in the ship's gift shop buying a low-quality, $50 carry-on bag on the last night just because they ran out of room. I call this the Cozumel shopping spree effect. You find a beautiful hand-woven blanket or a set of local spirits, and suddenly your perfectly packed suitcase is at its breaking point. If you don't have an overflow plan, you're going to spend the last night of your vacation stressed out, trying to play luggage Tetris. The insider move is to pack a lightweight, foldable duffel bag in the bottom of your main suitcase. It takes up as much space as a t-shirt but expands into a full-size carry-on. On the way home, You can fill it with your dirty laundry and use your hard-sided suitcase to protect your fragile souvenirs. It's the escape hatch every shopper needs. Pack a foldable duffel bag to use as an overflow bag for souvenirs and dirty laundry on your return trip. 16. DIY Pharmacy Kit. The Ship's gift shop is the last place you want to be when you're feeling under the weather. Most first-timers think, oh, if I get a headache, I'll just buy some Tylenol on board. What they don't realize is that ship stores have very limited hours. They re-closed while the ship is in port, and the prices are astronomical. I've seen 2 packs of Advil selling for $15. But here is the real danger. If you have a minor stomach issue or a cold and you go to the ship's medical center, they may be required to quarantine you in your cabin to prevent an outbreak. You could spend 3 days of your vacation locked in your room for something that a simple over-the-counter pill could have fixed. By building your own med kit with Tylenol, Pepto-Bismol, Imodium, and cough drops, you become your own doctor. You save money, you save time, and you avoid the guest services headache. Make sure to include Band-Aids and antibiotic ointment for those small cuts you might get while exploring rocky beaches. Create a comprehensive mini pharmacy in a small pouch to avoid the closed hours and 500% markups of the ship's store. 17. Seasickness triple threat. Even if you've never been motion sick in your life, you need to prepare for the 1-2 punch of rough seas and a moving ship. Most cruisers think they'll just tough it out or wait until they feel sick to take something. But the truth is, once you're already nauseous, most medications take too long to kick in to save your day. I've seen the most adventurous travelers reduced to lying on the bathroom floor during a crossing of the Drake Passage or a storm in the Gulf of Mexico. They missed the lobster night, they missed the show, and they spent 2 days of their expensive vacation in total misery. If you wait until the room is spinning, it's already too late. The triple threat strategy is what seasoned sailors use. First, take a non-drowsy Bonini the night before you board to get it in your system. Second, wear C-bands on your wrists to utilize pressure points. And third, keep ginger chews in your pocket for immediate, natural relief. This 3-layered approach ensures that even if the ship starts rocking and rolling, you'll be at the bar enjoying your drink. Don't rely on one method. Combine Bonini, C-bands, and ginger chews to attack motion sickness from every angle. 18. Electrolyte/hydration packets. The combination of tropical sun, desalinated ship water, and a few too many drinks of the day is a recipe for a massive dehydration headache. Most passengers think they're hydrating because they're drinking water from the buffet, but ship water is often stripped of the minerals your body needs. I've seen people complain of cruise fatigue on day 3, thinking they're just tired, when they're actually severely dehydrated. A cruise hangover is different from a normal one. The constant motion of the ship and the intense humidity drain your electrolytes faster than you realize. If you're out on a shore excursion in Cozumel and you're only drinking bottled water, you're not replacing